whole and part. You know what I mean? Whole and part. Whole and part are connected. No whole, no part. No part, no whole. You know what I mean? So then talking about, if we talk about our body, right? Our body. So we are the collection of the body and mind. We are talking about person, he or she. He or she, person is the whole. Aggregates are the parts. You know that. So this make you person. But person, you are the person, he or she. And aggregates, right, are the parts. Then make base of designation and designate object. Whole and part. So this will speak on any, if we speak on the space, we can speak about whole and part. East part, north, east, north, south, you know, whole. Depend. No east, no north. You know what I mean? So therefore, that kind of dependent origination is a little bit subtler than that dependent origination of the cause and effect. So it's more subtler, right? So that kind of dependent origination can understand other schools like, you know, mind-only school, or, you know, other school, lower school, middle of autonomy, they can understand. But now the Lama Tsongkharpa main point is to understand this third kind of dependent origination. So that is merely labeled by the mind, designated by the mind. Mind designated and does not exist objectively. You know what I mean? Your mind, as so long we are not understand emptiness, mind will designate object. You know what I mean? It designated by the mind. Your mind designated. If you have flu, right? Flu. If your mind designated, flu is very serious. It appears to your mind very serious. If your mind designated flu is not that serious, it appears to your mind not that serious. That kind of things are designated by the mind, merely labeled by the mind. But whenever we see, we're not seeing that way. We are seeing not merely labeled by the mind, objectively existing. Things are existing from the side of the object. So that kind of dependent origination, Lama Tsongkharpa Togo, dependent origination of this understanding, this dependent origination will dispel the ignorance, the fundamental ignorance. So there are three different types of dependent origination, isn't it? Cause and effect, right? Number two, dependent origination of whole and part. Three, dependent origination of merely labeled by the mind. So mainly we are talking about this dependent origination of merely labeled by the mind, designated by the mind. So to understand this dependent origination, emptiness is empty of inherent existence. Empty of inherent existence. Everybody have this text. I bow down to you, omniscient, highest of teacher, Victoria, who relied dependent on origination, and then taught it is other. So that's the meaning of the dependent origination. Understand? Meaning of. So mainly two sutra, okay? Right settling sutra and sutra of essence of emptiness. So right settling sutra, as I mentioned before, sutra of essence of emptiness. Okay, so that sutra, essence of emptiness, teach us all the phenomena coming from cause and condition, right? Cause and condition. So, cause and conditions are impermanence, changing, right? Changing depend. Some change we can see directly. Some change we are not seeing directly. We see change like when hot weather is easy or weather is very hot, so you change. When cold weather, these are very easy to, because of cause change the effect, right? But internal emotion changing, changing and it fluctuating, but we're not noticing that one, right? Internal changing, and then but if you understand the dependent origination, this cause and effect, whole and parts designated by the mind, so then this will open your mind, make your mind more open like space. So whatever happening is dependent origination. Emotions, whatever, all depend on origination, cause and effect. So this will open your mind, means minimize problem. Not making problem bigger, but you can minimize the problem, or you can cut the levels of the problem, or you're not focusing on the problem itself, but rather you're focusing on the cause of the problem. If you focus on the problem only, will increase the problem, right? If you think about cause of the problem, and then you're thinking about dependent origination, right? If something happened to you, right, you will not blame your problem to other. You can blame your problem because of my negative mind. I have no negative mind, no problem, my negative mind. So pinpoint to the afflictive emotions. Once you pinpoint, it problem arises because of this deluded mind. So when you pinpoint to deluded mind, then you have opportunity, whether it is possible to eliminate delusion or not. Is there any way I can stop this delusion? Then of course, there is one way to eliminate delusion is dependent origination and understanding emptiness. So first pinpoint delusion. Then you analyze whether is it possible me to cut or eliminate delusion. Then understanding dependent origination and emptiness will cut the delusion. No understanding emptiness, dependent origination will not decrease the delusion. So that is the meaning that given that, okay, so that is the dependent origination. Now this one have 25 chapters. I have to go. I have to tell them one by one. Maybe you get some idea. Okay. So Lama, second instances, right? Whatever problems there are in the world have ignorance as the root. That ignorance, you told, is destroyed by perceiving dependent origination. Given that, how then to intelligent fail to comprehend that the path of dependent origination is the very crux of all teachings, And stanza 1, 2, 3, stanza 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Chapter number 1 is called the Tenjun Sungbe Gone Tube means the reason why Buddha pressed for the theory of dependent origination. That chapter goes with stanza 1, in stanza 2, 3, 4, 5 is chapter number 1 called reason why Buddha pressed the teaching of the theory of dependent origination. Chapter number 1. Chapter number 2 here. Chapter number 2, only 6 stanzas. Stanza number 6, right? The way immature apprehend dependent origination does nothing but tighten the bounds of extreme views. Okay, so that is only dependent origination is the base of individual person to bound or liberation. Chapter number 2. Okay. Tenjungi Juzen Chingi Kansa Susu Chingdul Niga. I'm trying to do this. All my Tibetans are here, so I write Tibetan here. So it means only dependent origination. Only dependent origination is the base of the individual person to bound or liberation. That chapter, okay. Chapter number 2. So that is that's number 6. Number 6. Okay. It's number maybe 1. You will get idea, right? First I will give all the chapters, then we will go. Chapter number 3, stanza 7 and 8 is the so that is not seeing pure teaching other than Buddha because of dependent origination and emptiness. From not seeing pure teaching means not seeing pure seeing pure teaching other than Buddha because of dependent origination and emptiness. From not seeing pure teaching means not seeing pure teaching other than Buddhist teaching of dependent origination. Okay, so that is the chapter number 3. Chapter number 4 is seeing. Chapter number 4, right? So it's verse 9 and verse 10. Seeing disadvantage of seeing contradiction is the disadvantage of the disadvantage. Contradiction between dependent origination and emptiness is disadvantage, no advantage, disadvantage. So this will 9 and 10. 11 and 12 is the, chapter number 5. Empty of inherent existence is the best way of pressing dependent origination. Pressing dependent origination. Number 5. Number 6 is stanza 13. Oh, so that means well pressed, it is because of dependent arising. Well pressed, because pressed, it is because of dependent arising. Stanza number 14, chapter number 7 is reason of dependent origination. Reason of dependent origination. So this will go to reason of dependent origination is stanza 14 and 15. Stanza 16 is accepting dependent origination, right? Accepting dependent origination inherently brings many disadvantages, faults or disadvantages. So this is stanza number 16. Stanza number 17 is Buddha's teaching. Buddha's teaching, nobody will challenge. Nobody will challenge the Buddha's teaching. Yeah. Verse 18. There is no contradiction between dependent origination and emptiness, instead supporting each other, helping each other. That is verse 18, 19, 20, verse 18, 19, 20. Then verse 21, Buddhist school, right? Mind knowledge school, mind knowledge school view, autonomy school. Their view of emptiness, Lama Tsongkharpa not that happy about view of emptiness below the Madhyamika school, mind knowledge school. Their view of emptiness not that happy. So this will go 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Chapter number 12 is object of negation and reasoned without contradiction. Object of negation, like, do you understand what I'm saying? Object of negation, if I say like this, subject, like, this subject, this is subject we are going to discuss about emptiness, book. So I have to prove this book to be dependent origination. So book, subject. Then I'm going to prove this. It is not independent existence. Then I have to use the reason because dependent origination. So when I say dependent origination, I negate the book independent existence. So that object of negation and dependent origination, no contradiction. No contradiction. Right? If you accept inherent existence, there's contradiction. Inherent existence, there's contradiction, because how can you use dependent origination to prove the book? Contradiction. But if I use empty of inherent existence, subject book, not independent existence, right? Book is coming from many cause and condition because dependent origination. So as soon as dependent origination comes to my mind, I negate book independent existence. So then dependent origination and object of negation, no contradiction. That's the point I'm talking about, right? Oh, so that is chapter number 11. Chapter number 11. Oh, sorry, chapter number 12, right? 12, sorry. Missing one. Chapter number 11 is 27 verses. Oh. Because of that reason, dependent origination, reason, right? Because of that, using that dependent origination, reason, right? And then you taught that dependent origination is like magical display. Magical display, So that makes sense, right? Appearance, something, reality, magic, magician will give you trick, right? Magician will create things. If you believe this is true snake, skate. But if you don't believe snake, no skate. If you believe truly existent, emotion arise. If you don't believe, nothing will happen. Like magician display. Appearance, inherently, reality, empty of inner existence. Verse 28, right, is, this is chapter number 14. So that means, no debater could reasonably find fault from Buddha's teaching. Okay. So this will go 28, 29. Verse 28, 29. Then verse 30. Verse 15. So 15 is this very path of dependent arising. The reason I regard your speech as unmatched. That is the chapter number 15, chapter number 16, verse 31, 32, 33, 3 verses, 3 stanzas. So this means, so it means those who follows we have to respect Buddha's teachings and Buddha. That one, 31, 32, 33. And chapter number 17 is just one facet of your teaching brings supreme delight. Supreme delight. Stanza 75. Sorry, stanza 35. Sorry, chapter number 18, right? Okay, so that is so that is like in the boundary of your excellence I have yet to gain even its smallest parts. Make very humble, Lama Tsongkharpa saying, humble. So this will go stanza 35, 36. Okay, so then chapter number 19. So that means emptiness and dependent arising. Is the emptiness and dependent arising. Only emptiness and dependent arising is unique quality to press Buddha. Right? Unique quality. Then chapter number 20. All Buddha's teaching, comes to base dependent origination. Chapter number 21. Remembering the kindness of the Buddha who taught the Buddha, who worked very hard to achieve that goal. Buddha sacrificed his life in giving teaching to us, So therefore, we should remember the kindness of the Buddha and cherish the dependent origination. So that is 39, 40. Then chapter number 22 is this teaching this teaching you work very hard to achieve that teaching. You working very hard to achieve that teaching of the and accumulate merit to accomplish dependent originations. Verse 42. Then this is like, how unfortunate not me to have heard this teaching directly from Buddha. So this will go 42, 43, 44, 45, 44, 45. 46, chapter number 46. Oh, so that means those who are unskilled, right? Unskilled. That means all the lower school who accept inherent existence, Manoli school, all those who are unskilled have made of your most excellent system a complete tangent. So that's below the Madhyamika school. Chapter number 25, right? Upon seeing this, then I relied upon the work of sages and diligently sought your true intent again and again of emptiness and dependent origination. So that's when he was 40 years old. Buddha, he analyzing, studying, reflecting, meditating. Then I realized your true meaning of dependent origination and emptiness. So this will go 42, 47, 48. Okay, this chapter number, how many chapter number? Look, the Tibetan here, okay. The textbook. Okay. Chapter number 25 finish. So that will finish first, paying homage. Second, actual explanation of the text. Now conclusion, the last. Conclusion. So that will go to the so this chapter number 5 goes with all the 49, 50, 51, all chapter number 5. Now the actual finish actual 21 chapter. Now conclusion. So conclusion. Conclusion. Conclusion number 1 is stanza 52, saying the follower of Buddha we should remember his kindness. Oh. And second is how Lama Tsongkharpa respect the Buddha. He respect because of he fully understand emptiness and dependent origin. Then he respect Buddha, his incredible teacher. Not like us, it's kind of like great conviction through analyzing. Because he studied and then he realized emptiness and dependent origination, then he have such a joy. How incredible Buddhas, you are the teacher, because who taught this dependent origination and emptiness, which is no contradiction, helping each other, supporting each other, dispelling the ignorance. Is the only understanding dependent origination and emptiness, no contradiction, and helping support each other. So, Lama Tsongkharpa. This one is 55. 56 is so it's a dedication. So Thanggu first dedicated to the guru or teacher. And the second second dedication is dedicated to dedication Tamo. So dedication to the teacher. My mind will never separate with Buddha, And second is dedication to spread the holy beings in the world, this three generation world. That will go to stanzas. Then third dedication is so first, third, Lama Tsongkharpa himself hold the Buddha's Dharma teachings. Then next one is so to spread the Lama Tsongkharpa's Dharma. So that will be you got all the verses. Are you sure? Last one is the dedication for the protectors who help Matala, all this. So this is the chapter. So we will study one by one after, right? So now we got chapter 25, and now we have idea, what text, homage, main text, conclusion. So why we pay homage? Chapter 25 is the body of the text. So main text, and then conclusion. What should we do? How we dedicate? This is I'm talking about beginning, motivation, and dedication. Right. Okay. Now we have studied one by one. Okay, maybe have tea break. We have dedication here, so